Hello, this is your late night edition. Good epidemic sound. Thought I'd give you 30 seconds of the full academic sound instrumental. Yeah. It's 11:53 p.m. and of course we have to get down to business. You know, there's some serious business, and what we got to get down to is what the heck happened with Mega Millions. So in the event that you happen to have a ticket, here's Jimmy, late night. Yeah, I got all my screens lit up. I got a fresh cup of coffee. Oh yeah, screw it. Keep the heart ticking overnight. I will sleep, and I have a little basket of very special soft chocolate chip cookies. Look at that bite. That morsel, it's so marvelous. I'm sorry. Giving myself a little carbohydrate. In the meantime, you can see 4, 20, 38, 56, 66, with a magic ball of 5, whatever they call that ball. I have to tune into that, watch the live broadcast. There it is, official Mega Millions draw results for Tuesday, January 27. Now see, not available. What that means is, which I'll show you next, is that did anyone win? Because if someone won, then it's a rollover. So they don't know whether it's going to be a $300 million January 30th. You know, like Tuesday, Friday. No, Friday's coming up. This is Tuesday. Yep. I happen to have in my secret package right here. This is my it's lock and key. Here's the lock and here's the key. It is now open, and I have somewhere in here. There we go. What do I have in here? I have prize-winning money, which you can see. I mean, the lighting in here is a little. Come on, James. Yeah, here's prize money, and a couple of Mega Millions tickets, which I will not bore you with looking up my numbers tonight. That'll be a surprise for tomorrow or whenever I get to it. I'll seal that back up. You see right here, I got all the statistics embodied in there just for posterity. I keep replacing it with a new version of this. I'm showing you from 100 million to 285 million. That's 6 through 17. So that's like 10, 6 through 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 11. That's 11, what do you call them? 11 drawings. Just this 11. Because it goes down to 90, 80, 70, 60, 50. It goes down to actually 50 million. So if someone wins today, then the lottery rolls over to 50 million, down to 50 million. I did that on December 3rd, I believe. And since someone won $1 billion prize, that got my attention to Mega Millions. Plus, it's like twice a week. You know, twice a week you're not going to win. Yeah, I mean, this is the worst bet on the planet. To win the grand prize, the odds are 1 out of 290 million. Which, you know what that means? In other words, you're not going to win. But you could win $1 million prize, a $10 million prize, a $2 million prize, you know, with a multiplier thing on the edge of the numbers. So if you got all 5 numbers, here they are. Whoops. Oh, we need to add that to, yeah, now we need to, oh gosh. I know, gotta do everything. You want to swap cameras, please? Thank you very much. There we go. So we got the numbers over here. Jimmy's over right. There's the middle line over here. I'm right of middle. This way from middle. You see what a middle line is. I mean, that's pretty obvious. There we go. So the $285 million, we've got to string that back, yeah? Grand prize winning numbers, 4, 20, 38, 56, 66. And I just wanted to show you that I am on the ball. I got it all. I got the balls on there. Yep. Balls, said the queen, if I had 'em, I'd be king. Nay, said the knave, I've got 'em, I'm not. So what would that be called? The red symbol indicates that this is the line, the bottom line that we're going to be talking about. So if you were to win, if you were the only winner of the $285 million grand prize, then they would have a facsimile check if you elected to go, jackpot lump sum. The net present value of the future cash flows, the present value of that future cash flows is $130,300,000. Yeah. But you're actually not going to get that check in reality, because you're only going to get $99,028,000. Oh, poor baby. Only $99 million. We're actually not going to have that for long, because there's another $17 million they're going to get you, because, the reason why you get $99 million is because there is a 24% withholding tax that Uncle Sam has on these kind of lottery winnings. So they're going to peel off 24% of 130 million. So that's like 30 million, in round numbers. So that leaves you 99 million. And then there's another 13% you have to give them, because you're in the maximum tax bracket of 37%. So if the federal tax guys, let's slide this. Let's see, how do we make this so you can see it? We have to shrink that up on my iPad. There we go. Shrink it a little more. There we go. So now everything I see on my iPad is full screen for you guys. For my studio audience. There we go. We'll just close that down. We don't need that. I wonder if I'm actually a simulcast with Facebook. It hasn't disappeared. So we're 10 minutes into Facebook. Now that's interesting. So maybe there's like a busy, I don't know. Maybe Facebook has decided to be nice to me. Maybe I took it off. Maybe I'm not even going for, Facebook. Not too sure how to verify that, but I'll figure that out tomorrow. But right now, Here is the winning numbers. So we're going to shrink that down a little bit. There you go. So you can see the 80,089. That's after all federal taxes. As the column caption says, jackpot lump sum payout after federal income tax of 37%. Yeah. It's in black and white. It's in black and yellow. Now if we go all the way down to the bottom of the column, there's the last one, 82,089. That's a nice number. You know, for someone who has like 10 or 12 relatives, boy, you can divide up that. Just so you know, 22 million comes off the top for Jimmy and Marilyn. Period. 22 million is gone. So now you're left with 60 million. All right, I got 4 kids. 5 million apiece. 5 times 4 is 20 million. So 82 million becomes 60 million, which becomes 40 million. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, nice $40 million number. So with the 6 relatives that I know of, we give them in each $1,250,000, something like that. So 6 times 12, so that's like 7.5. Give them $8 million. So 6 million, you get 8. Well, it's too late. So we got. So we're going to take that 10 million. Not too many zeros. 10 million. We're going to divide that by, let's just say it's 7. There we go. Each gets $1,428,000. All right, so that adds up to, everyone gets, all 7 of them get $1,428,000. So that takes care of another 10 million. So then, so we went from, let's go back to the spreadsheet. We go back to, there we go. So 82 million. You take it away 22 million, no 89, because that's going in Jimmy and Marilyn's checkbook. And we'll do something with that in a minute. But we're just going to take everybody else first. So we got 4 kids, 5 million apiece, that's 20 million. So you go 82 million to 60 million, 20 million after that is 40 million. You got relatives, you're going to give them $1,428,000. That brings you down to 30 million. So now we got 30 million left over. So you know what we're going to do with that 30 million? Let me tell you. I'm going to take 5 million out of that and put it in our bucket. So we have 17 million instead of 12 million. So now we got 25 million left over. Let me show you what we do with that. Clear that out. 25 million. Truist just had an invitation. We could probably do better. Let's just take the Truist invitation I got in the mail. You want to put in 50,000, we'll give you 4%. Truist, we're going to give you 25 million. What kind of interest rate are you going to give me? I see 4%. Is that the right number? So 0.04. Oops, wait a minute. Excuse me. Times 0.04. 25 million at 0.04. What does that equal? $1 million. You get $1 million worth of interest. Let's divide that by 12. That's $83,000 a month in interest. And that, we're going to enjoy that interest. And we're going to live off that interest for, whatever life cycle I have left. So 83.33.33 will be my paycheck. Our paycheck. How about that? Everybody's happy. All my relatives underneath the children are going to get, roughly $1,428,000 to be exact. And 7 of them. I can't think of any more. everyone else is dead. It's the bad thing about when you're in your 80s. A lot of people don't make it to 80s. I found out. Yeah. The little I know about such things. I never used to worry about that. Not worry, I never used to think about it. Now that you're in your 80s, now you worry about it. Because you wonder how much of a life cycle. I feel, perfectly fine compass mentis-wise. I got this whole little broadcast thing going here. I don't have anybody listening to me, but you never can tell. There is there is a source, which I can't remember exactly where I read this, but I read that with this channel, that I've had 50,000 people listening to it. Some people for long times and some people for not so long time, period of time. I've got, like several thousand friends on Facebook, over 1,000 at least. And I don't know how many friends I got in YouTube. That should be growing. This broadcast for sure is on YouTube. It's probably not a simulcast because I can't get Facebook to stay in there more than a couple of minutes. So I put a panel up there, which of course I haven't done. That's something I should have done. Let us get that panel. You'll see it. I sent it to myself. Self? What does that panel say? There it is. I'm going to copy that. Copy. And then I'm going to go to Facebook. Somewhere there's a F. Yeah, big black F. Oh, I already have it up. Here it is. See, that's not the right one. Maybe that's the problem. Here we go. This is me. And somewhere, if I hit home, there you go. Let's do that again. What's on your mind, Jen? There you go. And then I'm going to do a paste. And I'm going to say 12 a.m. I'll just say today. See, it says today. So it's actually the 28th. Yeah. And I'm going to get rid of that picture. And that's going to invite people. If they happen to be roaming around in the middle of the night, they can... Here's this guy that was screaming at the... Yeah, that's a... And then her... So I don't know what I couldn't figure out who took care of her. Anyway, so I have... this is the message I put up on Facebook right now, inviting them. What's next? What the hell's next? Post. Shut up and post. I thought you posted right. I don't know how to operate Facebook. Marilyn does. I'm like stupid here. See more. Whoops. Didn't push the right button. Let's see more. There you go. Now you can see everything. You see youtube.com, FAU for you. Yeah, that's on this. Let's just touch that and see what happens. There we go. You can see live. See, it says live right there. You can see it. Live and in color. Yeah. I'll slide this over so you can see that. That'd be it. If I touch that, I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. I'll slide this over so you can see that. You would be a few minutes behind if I touch that, because that's not live. It's like after live. So you would be a few minutes behind if I touch that, because that's not live. It's like close that out. I guess. So we're going to be a few minutes behind. Anyway, so can you imagine if you put $25 million in a savings account at 4%. That's $1 million a year in interest. Your principal is safe as long as the bank doesn't go out of business. That's the problem when you have a lot of money, because the FDIC, the insurance is like a joke. You know, I'm supposed to be a professional banker. Well, I'm a unique banker. As the state of Florida calls me, unique. Yeah, uniqued up on me, yeah. I actually had a regulatory affairs consultant speak to the director of bank, or one of the senior officials in banking, who is, I think, since retired. But I asked Jerry Dolan, I said, would you please ask the official at the state of Florida if I am approvable to be a senior executive officer and a director of a bank, any bank that's state chartered. You got any problem with that? Knowing what you know about Jimmy? She said, no, you're fine. Oh, well, thank you. But actually, that's all I wanted to hear. I mean, these people don't hand out compliments, believe me. But they're good. I mean, they're like auditors, I mean, you look if you can see them at the coffee thingy. There's the Mega Millions drawing tonight. That's the number. Let's see if it's 12 o'clock. Let's see if they're sleeping at Lottery Central. Still not available. I guess we'll see tomorrow morning or whenever. It's 290 million to one shot. It's not like the lottery, goes on for 10 weeks and those numbers can't be used again. No. It's 290 million to one every time they do it. Because they start over with the 70 balls and the 24 yellow ones in a different machine over here. Yeah, they got two machines. One moving the 70 balls and the other one's moving the 24 balls. They pick 5 of them one by one and they stack up there. And now here they're in numerical order. They may not have been picked in numerical order, but they arrange them in this, so it's easy for you to think into the smallest over here and the biggest. That doesn't mean that number 4 was the first one picked. That could have been the last one picked. I didn't actually see the video, but they figured it all out and put the balls in numerical order just like that. And then the Powerball, not Powerball, oops, the Mega Millions ball, whatever they call that ball. Yeah. And I figured out how to insert that right into my spreadsheet, and there it is. Yeah. Now tomorrow I'm going to pick up, once these numbers get distributed everywhere by tomorrow morning, I'll have it with the black circles so it's consistent with what I got above it. Because you can actually see the shading, most people wouldn't give a crap, but I do. So I'm in charge of give a crap. There we go. So those are the balls. We don't know if it's a rollover because, we don't know. We'll know tomorrow morning. And if tomorrow morning they're also going to declare, if it is a rollover, what the new grand prize would be. My guess would be 300 million, 305 million. Between Tuesday and Friday, you got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you got 3 days right in the middle of the week, a lot of advertising, So I don't have my tickets. I bought tickets for this one, but I don't have it for the January 30th drawing. You see, I'm all ready for it on Friday. I got the January 30, I got the February 3. Now, if someone wins it, then I'll recycle, and then this would be 50 million in here instead of 285. But 285 million, that ain't chump change. I mean, there should be a little more interest, or at least principal. So there you go. You got the star, which means we don't know if anyone won it or not. But if you were the lucky winner and you were the only lucky winner, there can be more than one. You just divide that big number by 2. So all these numbers just divide by 2. That 82 million becomes 41 million instead of 82. But 40 million, that ain't that's not exactly chump change either. If you take the annuity, it's like 4 million too. Your initial payment, you get it first day, and then 1 year later you get another 4.5 million, and that keeps growing up to like 17 million in payments. It all adds up to 285. You know, the 30 payments equals 285. That's a guarantee by the lottery people, not by me. I'm just showing you what's going on here. So 99 million is the actual check you would get if you were the only winner tonight. After all federal taxes, you'd end up with 82 million. This 99 is after the withholdings. If there wasn't a withholding, you'd get 130 million, because that's the lump sum declaration. That would be on your tax return as income for 2026, not counting whatever the hell income you have already, if any. And that would streamline you right to the 37% tax bracket, in which case we go over to this column. We go 1 from column A, 2 from column B. Also, yeah. Can I have stir-fried rice with that? 82 million. That is after all federal taxes. If you were the lucky winner, and you were, excuse me, and you lived in a state that had a state income tax, some states charge a number for lottery winnings. And sometimes that number is different than the traditional state income tax. Like in New Jersey, it's like over 13%. Now, what is the tax on lottery winnings? I don't know if they count that as the 13% or whether they charge 5%. Some states have a lower number for lottery winnings, major lottery winnings, than just throw that into the, your annual income number. But anyway, this is only dealing with Fed tax because Mega Millions is enjoyed by 45 states of the United States of America. 45, not 50. 45. And I didn't want to do 45 tax tables. If you live in Florida, Texas, or Tennessee, yep, it's 130 million is the grand prize lump sum, and 82 million, 089 is after all federal tax. Yeah, those are so you can see them. Those are the important numbers right there. If you win all 5 of the white balls, that's $1 million, not counting your multiplier. So if you got a 5x multiplier, you get 5 million instead of 1 million. If you happen to have a 10x next to your line, if you have multiple things on a ticket, then it could be 10 million. If you got 1x, then you get 1 million. I see 2 and 3 and 4 all the time. So if there's a 4 next to it, you get $4 million. But that's enough money so you can retire. You and the little woman can retire very comfortably on $4 million. You know what I'm saying? Let's do some math. I happen to have a calculator right here at my... Yes, sir, Bob. We know what the hell's going on here. Yeah. We got to stretch this out a little bit so we need to cover up everything else so it doesn't look so raggedy-taggedy. All right, so there's our calculator. So we're going to pretend we won $4 million. So we're going to peel off $4 million. If I take $1.5 million, whoops, put it in that 4% thing, times 4, that's $60,000 a year in interest. It's almost, that's not enough. So you take $2 million times 0.04 equals. There you go. You got $80,000 a year. Now, plus, Marilyn and I have like $60,000 in Social Security income. So 6 and 8 is 14. That's $140,000. You can live very nice on $140,000 a year. So I'm going to add 60 to that, plus the 60,000 we have in Social Security income. That's a true number. We each have $3,000 a month. 140. Let's divide that by 4. No. 2 million. Oh, it's 140. I'm sorry. 140. Divided by 24. That's $5,800 a pay period. You get paid twice a month, right? Times 2 equals, yeah. So it's $11,000 a month. That, how much lunch and dinners can you do? You don't have any bills. Everything's paid. Yeah. So this is lunches and dinners and Uber fees. Cars are all free and clear. Yeah, both of them. No car payments. Now you have to, figure out where you're going to live. And of course you're just going to write a check for that. So that's why I didn't take $4 million. I took $2 million. Now the other $2 million, you're going to go buy something. Nice condo inside the Boca Raton Resort property. Yeah. So you should be able to get something okay for $1.5 million. So then then you got to pay real estate taxes, insurance. So the only bill you're going to have is, taxes are going to be $15,000 a year. I'm making this up. Insurance is going to be, probably $10,000. So you got $25,000 a year in taxes and insurance. So that's $2,000 a month out of that $11,000. That's still a good amount of money. So $4 million puts you in a pretty decent situation for, your retirement years. You save a couple months, you can go on a nice cruise for $25K. You should be able to. Save up for 3 months. You got almost 30,000. 4 months. You do 3 cruises a year. Every 4 months you go on a cruise somewhere. So, take 30,000, you know, every 4 months. So out of that 11,000, you take 3. You know, that's a pretty nice amount of money for a cruise. Yes, sirree, Bob. So I was racing to get these numbers to you, in case you're watching. There we go. That's the official numbers. I took it right off of there. I did one of these and did a basic print screen, got rid of the stuff on top, and there it is. And then copied that and put it right in the spreadsheet. Not bad, huh? And there it is. Forever. And I don't know if it rolls over. 12:30. See if these lottery people are asleep or what. Home. There it is. There was no winner. And the next one, I'm looking at it right here. You can't see it. 303 million. Let's go to the official numbers. This is the Apple version of Excel. 303. And this one would say roll over. If I can put another space bar in there. They're here. 2 spaces. Get this symbol right here. See that symbol right there? I'm going to copy it. Oops. Backspace. That was a mistake. There we go. There it is. There we go. We let that go right there. There we go. Roll over. Now I take this whole business right here and go all the way across. This is my little procedure. And, no. Not 2 rows. Just 1 row. There we go. And we're going to copy it, all the formulas that are associated with that. Put it right here and paste it right there. Oh crap, it didn't work. Backspace. So if I copy that down to here. Oh, you dumbass. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Copy. Paste. Tell me something again. Why is that not working? All right, let's do it the old-fashioned way. Copy. Paste. Formulas. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Copy. No, don't do it that way. Go here. Touch that. Copy. Come down here and paste it. Formulas. Oh, God. 303, huh? 1230, I guess. 3, whoops. 303. Oh. Okay. Maybe I had America. Oh, I know. I see this little guy right here. Copy. Paste. There we go. You see how it popped up? There's a inside this little thing is a computation that converts the jackpot into the lump sum. Yeah. So now I basically go all the way across here, copy all this. Sorry, this is taking, it's live television. Copy. And then go back to here, and go back to here. Paste. There we go. And I delete this little character here because the place with that character means that this is the January 30th version of Mega Millions, which has grown now to 303 because it's a rollover week. Yeah. It took me a couple of tries here. I forgot this little doodad that's a formula right in there. You can almost see what the contents is. It's like 40. Let's see if we can see it. Can we see it? Let's copy it and put it over here. It's 45.721. It's a number, yeah, there it is. Get that out of there. Copy. Paste. You don't want to forget that guy, because that's what gives you the 138 million. Because if we don't have that, I can't get all the rest of them. The 303 generates the 138 million. Just to be perfectly truthful about that. And then everything else is generated by 138 million. That's how I get all the rest of this. Because this goes all the way across for 29 payments, and you add them all up, and what do you get? I mean, it's 30 payments right here. So, it's 302,999 because you would have been underpaid $13. So this final check of 18 million, whatever, that should actually show up as let's see if we can do that. Go to format, and it's currency. It's not really a negative number. Anyway, we'll just do that. But that's where you would work on it if you were going to work on it. Yeah. So that payment of 18,771, that would be increased by $13. So you get the whole 303. And the reason why that is not, see, I've calculated that. I've added all 30 payments up to see if it matches that 303 number, which you can't see. There you go, see the 303? So 303 should match up with 303. Well, it doesn't. And it doesn't by 13 million. Excuse me. $13. And why is that? Because I haven't calculated this to the penny. I could. I mean, I could go through all the cells and increase that. Just make the spreadsheet bigger. Because, you got 49 cents, 23 cents. I'm rounding up or down to the nearest dollar. And rounding it up and down 30 times left me to a $13 mistake. So, excuse me. we have to increase that check by $13. Watch what happens here. I'm going to go to that, and I'm going to say plus 13. Hit the green check mark, which you can't see. There we go. See? Now it adds up to 303, which is what it should be, right? And is it over or under? No, it's 0. That's what they would do, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to go back here now. And that plus 13 I'm going to get rid of. Hit the green check. And now I'm $13 short. But you can see over the period of this series of the Mega Millions, that was 88 over, see? 50 million, $88. That 3,097,000 would be, take $88 out of that payment. They have to round up and down pennies, so they could be off $8.80, just dividing things by 10. Or it could be 88 cents off, I figured this is close enough for, general, because I am not working for the lottery people. I'm just doing this as a public service. There we go. And look at that. The lottery people are awake at 12:30 because no one has won the grand prize. So they have declared that the January 30 Mega Millions will be, in their estimation, 303 million. Yeah, I told you it's somewhere between 300 million and 305. So it's up 17, 18 million. That's, hey, what the heck? Look at that here. Your lump sum, instead of 99 million, now it's 105 million. And after all federal taxes, 87 million instead of 82 million. If you took the annuity, your initial check would be $4.5 million bucks. Which, see the monthly payments? 7 million, 8 million, 1, 9 million, grows 5% a year. All these numbers, 12 million. 5%, that's another $500,000 next year, Anyway, the last check of that 30 check annuity, it's not a 30-year annuity, it's a 29-year annuity because they're giving you the first check day one. So in 1 year, you end up with 1 year and a day, you get 2 checks, in theory. So the last check is 18,771,000. That'd be your 29th, that'd be your 30th check. Which they'd have to give you another $13. That's the over and under each one of these months. Because I rounded off the pennies to the nearest dollar. You do that 30 times, I'm off by whatever. Yeah, it's not serious money. But that 87,255,255, that's a serious number. That's your lump sum after all Fed taxes. We're going to make a print screen, and we're just going to cover, gosh darn it. Excuse me. We're just going to cover 100 million. We don't want to see 60, 70, 80, 90. Let's just say 100 million to 300 million. That's enough. And I'm going to expand this over so it shows at least the first check. You know, the first payment. And we got 100 million shown here. Let's get to 100. Right there. Gotta move this over. Gotta move this over a bit so we get all the balls. Balls, said the queen. And we're gonna move this up. Jesus. There we go. I gotta get this over here so I get that check. There we go. That looks okay. I'm gonna move it up. Oh boy. I'll tell you what, this live television is a bitch. There we go, right there. We don't want any else. Need to move this over. There we go, move that over. There we go. 90 million. Move that up. Move this up to 100 million. Leave that right there, yeah. That looks good. I got the first check showing, the first column. That's all I want. Hit the print screen, the top button and the side button simultaneously. 1, 2, 3, bingo. There we go. We get rid of... Let me go right to here. I show the first column. I'll come up and go through, well, let's bring this down to the yellow. And let's get the right aspect ratio to fill the screen. There we go. That looks balanced. And hit the check up here. Save the photos. Close out this lottery thing. So I'm done with that. Done with that. There we go. It gets saved to the iCloud drive somewhere in hyperspace. And now we're going to come to the photo album. You're getting all my secrets. This is the photo album, yeah. So I'm going to go back to this one. Since we've spruced this up a little tiny bit. Yeah, put a heart on it, and then unheart that one, because we had to put the 303 million in the prize money. You know, the 420, 38, 56. Let's make sure we have that. 420. You see, I don't have to remember the numbers because I just did I inserted a photo and cropped it just to show the numbers. There we go. Looks good to me. We're going to float that around here. This one right here, we're going to shut this down. There we are. This is a living color. So that's... See, now I can diddle with this. And it's not the spreadsheet. When you got a spreadsheet that has all those numbers, you don't want to screw up and make a mistake. Because to dig in there and look through the cells and which cells did you louse up. So you're very careful in inserting numbers and changing anything with formulas because it's hell to pay if you do it ass backwards. Pardon the expression. So now we're looking at all our. So now we go to this here, and we come back and collections, I think, and favorites. You just do that and do that. So now these are all the. See the heart up on the top? Every one of these are selected images and, nothing else. So this is what I had before the lottery. I had all 4 panels showing you every month. I'll go back to this. I mean, there's no sense in wasting all that picture stuff. So I'll just go back a couple of images and say, hey, here is the 4 or 5 panels of the 30 columns, And then here we go to the next one, and then we go, look at gold. Gold today was up $70 an ounce. It was up like $80 or $90 an ounce yesterday. I mean, this year, now this is not interest rate. You get 4%. 4% of something is not a lot of money, $1,000, you get $40. You have $1,000 worth of gold, it's worth $2,000. It has doubled. Yeah. This is a 1-year chart. It went from $2,400 to $5,098. Your interest rate, if you will, is 93% instead of 4%. And this is a precious metal. Jesus. So the spot gold price, as of 10:42 a.m., you see that right there? I mean, these guys are, this is APMEX. I can just pull down in the middle of my thing right here. APMEX logo is right there next to the App Store. Touch that. There you go. You get this little skinny doodad. Because it's designed for the iPhone, actually. You can make it full page, but, this is fine. So here's the new number. Gold is $5,278 an ounce. And last year it was, I touched that right there. Now I'm going to hit the 1-year graph. And you can see a year ago, the spot gold price was $2,600. Today it's $5,278. That's 100% gain. That's a double. Yeah. 26 times 2 is 52. It's like a deck of cards. 52 cards in a deck. Half a deck, 26. Half of that is 13. 13 cards per suit, right? There you go. Deck of cards. Look at that. 1 year, it's gone up. You can look at a 5-year chart. But really, if you go 2.5, there we go. You can go right here. You pick the low point right about here. $1,700 an ounce at midnight on September 8th, 2022. 2023. Let's go right here, January 28th. Bingo, right there. $1,933 an ounce. And today it's $5,200. More than a double. Yeah. But you can see, there's all kind of, Trump is having to deal with lots of stuff. So I've had an account there. We put tens of thousands of dollars worth of gold and silver. Silver has even gone up more. It's like instead of 100%, it'd be 120%. It's not a huge amount. 100% is crazy. It's a precious metal. It's not gambling with some company that is a startup. And hoping they know how to run a company. It's gold, coin. You buy, might as well tell you, I'm not a financial advisor. But if I was lucky enough to win whatever, 200 of these, this right here, this is what you want. This is called I am not a financial advisor. So I'm talking to you like just a friend sitting across the table at Denny's, and we're just talking about things that are gold. Well, one thing that's a gold is this Buffalo 50-cent thing. You see that? And you can get a tube of 20. You can buy one. Yeah, it's about, $5,600 a coin. But it's pure. It's 0.99999. See that? I can expando now. See that? 0.99. See all those nines? That's as pure. This is from the United States government now. So this is, proper assay. This is a good source of real gold, instead of something that's painted gold. And you can go back to the details of this. Down here, see where it says specifications? You want to read the fine print. And I'm going to go down right here, specification, and you see 0.9999949s. That's as pure. That's the purest you can buy. You can't refine it because that's, what's the impurity? 0.00001. That's like a skin oil on the front of the thing might be that measurement. So it's 32 millimeters in diameter. It's about 3 millimeters thick. It's 2.95 actually. So it's 3 millimeters thick in round numbers. It's 1 troy ounce of metal. The U.S. government has decided to put $50 on there as the circulation. Even though it's 5,000, they put $50 on there. So if you buy 100 of them, APMEX will take $5,600 per coin if you're buying 100 of them or more. So in my hallucination of winning a stupid prize, we can clock this down. How many coins will it take for $1 million? So 190 coins. I keep touching these until you 48, 37, 182. There you go. 178 coins per $1 million. That's 178 ounces of gold. So if we go to our trusty calculator, 178 divided by what? 16 ounces per pound. That's 11 pounds of gold. So 11 pounds of gold costs you $1 million, round numbers. Yep. It wasn't long ago that the price of gold, it's just like last week, gold was like $4,700 an ounce, a coin. Now it's 56. So now $1 million only buys 178 coins instead of buying 207 coins. Remember the last time? Remember when I just brought this up? It said 207, and I was getting down to $1 million. So this is $1 million, $1 million, and then 3,000, 989. A big order like this, you call them up on the phone and make sure you open up the account properly, and your shipping address and all that. Now you can get the gold shipped to you, or they'll keep it in their vault. in your name. And they're serious people. They bought the Federal Reserve Bank in the city. And they have a real big vault with all kinds of, So they put it in a safety deposit box for you. And they give you the box number, and they probably send you a couple of keys. But they'll be able to, at your direction, they'll be able to get in the box and take coins out and put coins in. I suggest if you win this kind of a prize that you ship yourself $1 million worth of gold coins, 178, just in case the shit totally hits the fan. At least you got $1 million of a precious metal so that you can save yourself if the entire United States currency goes down the toilet. There's an expression, shit happens. So when you have a lot of money, you have the ability to think about such things. Whoops, my Alexa, den lights on. Alexa, den lights on.
Okay.
There we go. At 1 a.m. Must be 1 a.m. Yeah. At 1 a.m. all the lights go up. This Alexa stuff is crazy. Everything went off. But I have, all this equipment runs off a power supply. I'm surprised I didn't lose my sound box. Yep. Yeah, I've got Alexa covering half the number of units plugged in here. Not all of it. So good. We got the. No one won the grand prize. We rolled it over. Anything else happened today? Exciting? Let's take a look. Here's, remember Prince Harry and his brother. He was like 7 or 8 years old, and his brother was like 12 years old. The person that's going to be king, soon, because his father is trying to stay alive with medical treatment, some kind of cancer. So Prince Harry, as a young kid, has gone through shit, And he ran away from the royal everything with Meghan Markle, who was a superstar TV star in a lawyer show series. So there she is. Anyway, they fell in love and got married. Let's say 10 years ago or something like that. 8 years ago. And he basically, they wrote a book and took the royal family gave away all the, my mother used to tell me she was very much, she and her husband, my father, were, my father, let's put it this way, was part of the Russian aristocracy and ran away because the leadership was murdering everybody that was part of the Russian aristocracy because communism took over, and the government had the guns and everyone else didn't, so they're in charge. So you got two choices: go along with the program or get shot or run like hell. So my father's parents ran like hell, and they got an apartment in Manhattan, and he did what he did, and I don't know what his employment situation was, actually. So when my father was 9, the Bolsheviks found my father and his wife and shot them in their apartment. And my father was hiding under the bed and kept his mouth quiet, or else he would have been shot. And they left, and my father stayed under the bed for a whole day. And he's listening, and he finally had to get out from underneath because he had to go, relieve himself from peeing the potty. So my mother learned all about the Russian aristocracy and the whole story of Anastasia. Well, my father's parents, my grandparents, which I never got to meet because they were murdered. My father survived it. Wilson is a made-up name. Because his real name he had to do away with, because if he had his name anywhere, they'd find him and kill him. So my mother wouldn't let him have anything to do with his name, real name. So they came up with Wilson, and that was the end of it. When my father died, he would not tell me his real name. When my mother died, 5 years thereafter, she says, those secrets die with both of us. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna, because I'm afraid you'll use that name some way and somehow, because you'll get comfortable into thinking these people, they'll find you and kill you. It's worse than a religion. So she wouldn't tell me. He wouldn't tell me. And we're all adults. No, I wouldn't tell you. You tell me the first letter of the last name. Nope. 26 letters in the alphabet. She would not tell me the first letter of the last name. Nope. Anyway, because of that, my mother was always extremely interested in, aristocracies and, look at the British Empire. I mean, it's been going on for, 1,000 years. 1,000 years of people that, King Henry and, all these different kings, and Henry VIII and the 7th and the 6th and the 5th, and one was worse than the next, and the Henry VIII was terrible. A terrible murdering, maniac. A lot of inbreeding, and which creates genetic faults. So you had some of the people that aspired to the throne that were not, they were not the sharpest knives in the drawer, as they say. Yeah. Anyway, so I have a little sympathy for Prince Henry. So he, married Meghan Markle, and she talked him into, getting, and he thought it was a great idea. Get the hell out of the royal family. We got enough money of our own. You got enough money. Money actually is not their problem. They got lots of it. He just inherited, 10 million from, his grandmother and other monies he already had. So he's, you got 10, 15, 20 million. You can live off the interest. You can buy a $10 million house if you so choose, and you've still got plenty of money to live off the interest with your expenses. So I have a feeling the Netflix deal is done. They're not part of they don't even want to talk to these people, because when they line up all their shows, they didn't make the top 1,000. of different shows and movies and programs and all that. Well, they line them all, they do all this on a computer, and they're way below the top 1,000. So they get no money from Netflix. And if they do something, they're doing it out of pocket, and then they show Netflix, and then Netflix decides, if they want it or not. So they have no deal at all. They just have a phone number that most people don't have the phone number. So they know how to get to Netflix. But they have to get to Netflix with something that's worthwhile. Okay. So St. Paul, Minnesota, the ICE is picking up undocumented. They have a court order. You hear them say, "Well, do you have a warrant?" Yeah, they have a court order. It's called a deportation order by a judge. And they're rounding, and this is happening in cities all over the country. It's not like Minnesota, like 7 of them went to Minnesota, and that's the end of it. They have thousands of agents spread out all over the country, and they're knocking down doors all over the place, catching bad guys. They're all bad guys because they broke the law jumping in the country. And they're a strain on our medical system. They're a strain on the banking system. They steal, rape, murder. They're stealing cars. They're breaking in stores and stealing everything off the shelves. Now we don't see it down here. This is in blue cities. It's not happening, in Boca Raton or the cities all over the country. It's not happening. But in, New York, Houston, Dallas, all these major cities in blue states, it's terrible what and they're going up there because the blue states have these sanctuary cities or sanctuary states. And this is like a place you can go and not get arrested because you don't have you're not born here and you don't have a passport. That's your papers. Do you have any papers? No papers? You get arrested. So here they go. They're marching them out. They go in a paddy wagon. This is a delayed broadcast of, what do you call it, Jesse Waters, while they're rounding up illegals. So here's the silver market. Look at that swing, a $2 trillion swing overnight in the price of silver. Oh my God. So that's what I say. Silver's doing, because silver is used even more than gold in the electronics business. They have silver contacts because silver on silver makes a very good electrical bond. So on plugs, oftentimes plug sockets they have gold-plated contacts, and it's real. Gold same way. It has a very high level of conductivity, as they say, with electronic conduits. So they cover the contacts with gold because it won't tarnish, and it won't produce a barrier of an oxidized metal, so that electrical current won't pass through it. Gold doesn't tarnish. It is chemically inert. Platinum is actually the most inert of all. There's not a lot of activity with platinum. It's been $1,000 an ounce forever with the APMEX. Do I have that running? Yeah, let's come back here to the home page. Go back. Back. Come over here. Platinum, $2,700 an ounce. So it's gone up. Let's touch on that. Let's see what a 1 year graph of that looks like. So in 1 year, it's gone up. Wow. That's a year, yeah. Wow. 192%. Platinum has actually gone up high. Let's see silver. 1 year. 300% silver. Woo! Gold. 1 year. 101%. Yeah. Yeah. So gold was, the worst case scenario. Silver is 300%. Platinum, gold. It's $900 an ounce, and now it's $2,600 an ounce. 192% gain in a year. I don't know, you've heard it from me before. I begged everyone to buy gold a couple of years ago, last year, this year. I knew where it was going, because when you have an unsettled planet, and you got this shit going on with Russia and Ukraine, and we're going to get wiggled into that somehow. But sooner or later, Trump is just going to explode all over, Moscow. And if he's not going to do it, he's going to give, the Ukrainians the ability to do it. Anyway, so going back to Harry. So I have a little sympathy for Harry, because he's got distracted with this woman, with this Meghan Markle. Nice young lady, but if it wasn't for her, he wouldn't have run out of his royalty. And he was he was one of the most popular of the royals. Then you got a lot of bad press, and the media hates him. But he's going to wiggle back into that royal family. And she may be kicking and screaming. And if, fine, Megan, you want to live in the United States? I got to go back to, my life. And my life is in the royal family. And you're welcome to be part of it, but it has to be in Great Britain. Those days are going to be said. I don't know when. Could be this year, could be next. But he's going to go back home, in my opinion. And it may be a separation of the two that becomes of it. I don't know. I have no inside information. Believe me, none, zero. In case you're thinking that's I got special news. Nope, I have no news other than what you just see right here, which is next to nothing. Moving on. Now Tesla is reporting their earnings. They may have already. Let's go back to the stock thingy and press that button that says Tesla. And this is after hours. You can see the graph is not good. Look at that. That's a year. Up and down, up and down, up and down. It's basically, for the whole year, it's down $7. Because you can see where it started. I mean, if you look at if you bought it in October, it would have gone way up to 452, and now it's the problem with it is the price earnings ratio is 300%. It's 300. That's too much. Sure, they got all kinds of maybe things in it, but it's 2 years away from actual earnings. this say? When Tesla reports earnings. Let's touch that. When is that? When is their earnings come out? While Tesla revenue is likely to come on, when is it? Tell me. Here we go. This will tell you. It's this week. It's either today or tomorrow. It's making me nuts. Today, after the market closes Wednesday, today, I forget, it was really soon. Yeah, it's really soon. It's, about 12 or 16 hours from now. That's it. AI mode. Thinking. It's gone through 2,000 websites. This is what... There's 25, there's the quarters, and that's this led the fourth quarter, because this is annual earnings, 12/31 is the year end, so they expect it, analysts' expectation. Earnings per share about 45 cents a share, for $24 billion for the fourth quarter. So they're going to compare that to last year, and it's going to be lower. This quarter last year. It'll all be lower. Yeah. There you go. So they're going to be a car company that is getting in the Uber business, in the ride-hailing business, because their cars are fully robotic. In my car, I put it on autopilot, and I put the address of where we're going, like which hotel in Disney, takes you right there. You don't have to touch the steering wheel. You just sit there and watch out the steering wheel. Watch out the windshield and make sure it doesn't make a mistake. And you can grab the wheel and then you're in control. You just grab the wheel gently if it's going straight and just tap the brake pedal. Whoosh, autopilot's done. Or do a little jiggle of the steering wheel, autopilot breaks loose. So Anyway, if you go back to, if you go back to to right here, the price earnings ratio 290. It was like 310. That was the price of the stock has dropped, as you can see, in the the 1 week. 1 week, it's lost 35 or 10% of its value in 1 week, just anticipating, what the hell the stock is going to be. Whoops. It's going to go right. It's going to go right down, below what you see on this chart. Now they got all kinds of things that it's going to. It'll be in the 300s. It'll drop below 400 in the next week or so. This is not financial advice. It's just me guessing, because all the current news is not good. They've got great news for 3 years from now, but they've overbought the stock based on what they're going to do. How they're going to look 3 years from now. Well, the stock market looks ahead, like a year. So fine, a year and a half, not 3 years. And all the stuff they're talking about hasn't started. Now they're going to scale up and all this kind of stuff. There's going to be operating expenses to, that they're going to experience. Growth is not a free thing. And they're car manufacturers, so they can make the cars for their fleet. They don't have to buy them from some third party. They buy them from their own self. That's a good thing. Yeah. But Tesla is at 430, and it's going down to 3 something. I mean, I've done, if you take that down to 100 price earnings ratio, 100, each dollar for the stock, I'll give you 3. I mean, what the hell deal is that? You're lucky if you get 75% of a dollar's earnings. But not a price earnings ratio of 300. That's nuts. That's for every dollar of earning, you're going to give them 300 times that in value of the share. No, not in my book. Some people, fine. A couple of years from now, you'll be a hero. But you're going to, there's a lot of work that has to be done between now and then. And I think the stock market is going to go down. And, and Musk says he's going to, give the Trump campaign, whatever it takes to win in this year's congressional seats, so Trump doesn't get impeached and you lose 2 years worth of all the good things Trump is doing. And that's not Republican or Democrat. That's just a person. Trump is a non-political person. He happens to be liked by more Republicans than Democrats. But it's split down the middle, believe me. Things are not passed in Congress very easily. It's a hard swallow. But most of all that kind of legislation is done. And all he's doing is doing things, for the betterment of the country, I mean, look look at what's happened, you know. The price of things it's either come down or your salaries have gone up. You know, like 5 or 6%. Inflation is 2.5, 3. So that margin, so it's easier in one sense to buy things because you have more money to spend. It's hard to bring prices down when you've basically devalued the currency, is what's happened, and that's made the prices go up because it costs so much money to make a loaf of bread. Now, if you print money and just hand it out, which is what the Biden administration did, they took 1.7 or 8 trillion dollars and just handed it out all over the place. Well, that devalued our currency. That means a dollar isn't worth a dollar anymore. It's worth 90 cents. I'm making that up. So when you go into a grocery store, when you give the clerk a dollar, you're really only giving that clerk 90 cents. So that means the loaf of bread, you know, goes up to $1.10 instead of $1 because you've devalued the currency. And they have to mark up the bread to $1.10 because it still costs the same amount of money to make a loaf of bread, you know. And in order for them to pay all their bills, they got to get $1.10 a loaf instead of $1. You know, and there'll be other things in our society where the price will come down. For example, he's giving the energy industry green light. Everything goes. You produce the energy any goddamn way you can. And we're gonna approve things in a matter of weeks instead of years. And that's going to make a big difference on how much it costs to get products from this part of the country to that part of the country, because energy costs will be way down. And the price to make things is going to come down because the energy cost is coming down. I mean, energy is involved in everything that we do. And the prior administration, let's not even use a name, the prior administration was against all kinds of fossil fuel energy. Well, you can't put a windmill, in a factory. You can't put a windmill on top of your car. You can't put a windmill to power your house. We can transition into these alternate forms, but it has to be very gradual. We have an electrical grid. We don't have a solar grid, it's an electrical grid. And with all these windmills and solar things that represent, you add it all together, it's 3% of what goes into the energy grid. Well, 97%, where the hell do you think that's being made? It's being made with fossil fuels. There's some huge component of it. Like we have a little bit of hydroelectric, maybe 8% of our energy is hydroelectric. Anyway, you can't make drastic changes like that. They sunk a lot of money into windmills and solar. You can't buy enough solar cells and spread them all over every piece of real estate that's open to sun. And then when it's a cloudy day, but everyone has to stop working. You can't run a country that way. No. I don't recommend you run your farm that way. So that's what not Trump, what do you call it? Elon Musk. His problem is the stock is overpriced today, period. I mean, yeah. It's too much. You can't price a stock too many years in advance. And the stock market, in general, for everything, is based on futures. You know. And, yeah. There you can see my list of things I watch. The first quarter of this year is a little tricky. But after the first quarter of this year, things are really going to start to kaboom. Now, a lot of that thought is probably priced into this market, because the things that Trump has done as just an investment guy, I mean, he's a multi-billionaire before he showed up in Washington a few years ago. He's been trying to figure out this political crap for 10 years as a non-politician. And he's still a non-politician, believe me, because he's had 50 years being something else. And, you know, you don't swap brains. Seems like you might when you walk into Washington, D.C. He started playing around with trying to get elected, 10 years ago. So 2 years he worked real hard trying to do that, and then he did get elected by a real narrow margin. Beat out Hillary, I guess, right? And, then Kamala tried to beat him, a year ago. And it took him 2 years to basically make promises to everybody. But everyone writes down, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Well, he writes it down on a yellow pad, or someone does, and he checks it off. He'll get it all done. I mean, he's that kind of, whatever it takes, he's going to get these things done. And so if you're going to deal with any kind of politics, it's best to deal with the politics of what are you going to do exactly. Forget about all this political folderol. Get with your yellow pad. What are you going to do? You're going to raise taxes or decrease taxes? You're going to figure out how to raise incomes, or you're going to decrease incomes. Just go through the whole list. And his first term, he had a good bunch. He got almost everything done. He didn't seal off the border all the way because the opposition to him wouldn't give him, prevented him from having enough money to build the wall all the way. So now he's building 24/7. They're building the rest of the wall and adding a couple hundred miles more. And he's doing it right according to the way the border security people want it to get done. He didn't just dream it up himself. Yeah. So he'll finish off the wall, and that makes it a lot easier for border security to manage it, because people can't sneak. They have cameras and things, so they can. They got a major highway on our side of the wall, right next to the wall, so they have, jeeps, armed, with 2 agents, and they can ride up. They cover 100-mile piece of wall with 1 jeep and 2 guys because of the surveillance cameras and things that trigger when someone's trying to cut or climb a 30-foot wall. It's 30 feet tall. These iron beams, the size of your thickness of your leg, going straight up in the air. It makes it a little difficult to just pop over the fence. And if they're gonna cut it, that makes a lot of racket, So the border security will be able to catch that quick enough. Yeah. Anyway, so Trump is gonna be out there campaigning as if he's on the ticket, even though he's not, to try to help the Republicans keep the House. If the Democrats would do everything that Trump wants, he'd do that. Democrats say no, Republicans say yes, so he went over to the Republican side. He'd do it with the Democrats if they said they'll close off the border and blah, blah, blah. He'd be behind the Democratic Party. But they wouldn't go along with what he wants to get done. It's all a matter of what he's trying to get done. It's not like a political thing. It's a factual thing. I want to close the border. Can't have a country with an open border. We can't afford health care for the entire planet. We'll be done. So you have to control how many people get in here. We already have a process for that, and we allow about 1 million people a year to come in the proper way. But you can't come in by sneaking across the border. Because we let in, over the last 4 years, 10 or 11 million. That's what the Democrats say. It's 10 or 11 million. If Trump, he thinks it's more like 15 million. So let's just take the 10 million. That's we can't afford to just take 10 million people and put them on our health care. Every time they fall down and trip, they go into emergency. That bill goes undocumented. That bill goes right to Washington. The local hospital pays because they're not getting paid. Because they don't have insurance, for sure, and they don't have money in the pocket, that's for sure. So the hospital sucks up the bill. Discharges the undocumented, and they're left with a $500 bill. Well, that $500 bill goes right to Washington, and it comes out of the taxpayer money, adding to our deficit. Try getting into Australia without proof that you can sustain yourself and not be, living off of our health care or food, whatever they call it in Australia. You can't go in New Zealand, same thing. We had cousins in New Zealand, and just for the hell of it, I figured, I wonder what it'd like to go to New Zealand. You got to prove all kinds of things up and down that you are not going, that you're healthy and that you're not going to put a strain on the health system and that you're not going to collect any welfare. You got to prove that you either have enough cash or you're already employed here somehow, or you have insurance or pensions or, even Colombia. You can't get a visa more than 30 days unless you open up an account. Like if you have Social Security, you open up an account and have direct deposit into our bank down here from the U.S. government. They credit this account down here, not whatever account you got up in Florida. Then you have a permanent visa. But that's what you have to do. Either your annuity or your Social Security check. You got to have something like that is an automatic deposit into a Colombian bank, or else you only get a 30-day visa. And after 30 days, you got to go. You know, when you visit by a cruise, you're in and out of there in 1 day, you know. Yeah. So, looks like there's more red than green on this list. Yeah. There we go, this is Dow Jones. Let's see in a year where that's been. 1 year. There we go. Well, it's 40,000. Now it's 49,000. So in a year it's gone up 10,000 points. Holy crap. Ooh, is that possible? Yeah, I mean, if you... This is February, end of February. February was 43, and now it's 49,000. So it's gone up 6,000 points since Trump came on board. The 52-week high is 49,000. 52-week low is 36,000. Wow. 147. Holy shit. All right. Oops, excuse me. There you go. Mega Millions. I've taken care of that for today. Yep. All right. I gotta go. Back to photos. Back to the future. We started on the 27th and now it's the 28th. Oh God. That'll be a first for me. Going to recently saved and signing off with this right here. and pick up this right here, and go to freeform and come up a little bit. There we go. And that's what we're going to end with, because it's time to go. There we go. I started on the 27th and I end on the 28th. And with that, I wish you a good night. 1 hour and 56 minutes later, you can see that's the elapsed time. This is the current time at 1:49 a.m. Bye-bye.